Welcome back to the channel and a new video. Most of you that watch the channel know that I've planned for in the future to upgrade the frog terrarium that the Tinctorius cobalts are in. So I'll flip this around and show you what they're in currently. So they're currently in this 45 by 45 by 45, and personally I think that's just way too small for them. So I've been looking at getting one that's double the width and 50% taller. Now, to buy this new, you're looking at £400, which is about $550. I managed to pick one up on Facebook Marketplace for £100, which is about $135 roughly. And I'll show you some pictures. It came with a cork background, which I've stripped out. It wasn't the cleanest and it isn't in the greatest condition, but I'm sure I can revive it. So let me show you a video of it in the back of the car. I have stripped the back out of this. So this is it in the back of the car. It was used as a paludarium. It's an absolute state, really filthy. And then this is it after I've cleaned it. Now, I didn't realise that there was a repair to the bottom panel. I will reseal that. I'm not 100% happy with it, and I'm going to replace the lid. So this is the new rack upside down. It's taller than current, and I've done this slightly different. So instead of cutting dados, what I did was I built the frames. I've put these brackets in just to mark place really, but they'll add strength, and we've put 3 screws across. So this isn't going to hold the weight that this racking holds, but I now need to paint that, and I'm going to paint that using Cuprinol Ducks back again, but this time I'm using silver cops. I'm not sure if I'm going to give it more than one coat. I quite like the effect of that grey, where it sort of shows the grain. I may give it a second and see how that goes, but I'm quite liking the grain effect on that. So this set of footage is more for me than you guys, although there is a bit of an update. So I'm still painting. I've done probably 3 coats now, upside down, back to front. I still need to do down this side, so that needs a couple of coats. But the reason I decided to do this bit of video was a new camera, and I wanted to just use the audio on the camera and see how the audio goes. And we are being watched by the male and female epistogramma. But yeah, I've had a couple of coats on it, and I just wanted to see what the audio's like. I may do another section like this and attach some new microphones rather than the video on the camera itself and the audio on the camera itself, just to see how that goes. I'm stressing a little bit. I need to clear this rack out, and as you can see, I haven't really got a lot of room to work with. So I think I'm going to start by emptying that bottom tank and put it in the spare one on the other rack, and then the glass tank can come out and just go in the house upstairs or something, and clear everything else out. The small tank on top can probably go over here. I can have a bit of a move around, and then it's just the 2 frog enclosures. What I may do is I need to put some lighting on this new rack first. I want to fit the lighting before I put anything in it. So if I can get some lighting on the middle rack, at least move one of these tanks over and then sort of put that in place. But a lot of work. I'm going to need a hand, definitely. It's been a couple of days and we've got a bit of work done, so the rack is, well, for all intents and purposes, empty. I do need to disconnect the lighting and remove the clips. What we've done then is we've moved everything around so the room is an absolute tip. I've moved the frogs that were on the top over onto the chair at the moment, disconnected everything, put those on a board, and then yesterday I needed help to get this one because this one is heavy. We moved one of the tanks onto the rack. This was really heavy. I couldn't lift this on my own, but I think it's going to be easier to move that on rack. So let's crack on, get all this stripped down, clean out round the back, and then we'll pick up from there. Now that we've got that cleared, need to give the floor a bit of a clean, move the old frame out of the room, try and have a bit of a tidy up, and then move that new rack into place. I have removed the plug that was on these screws. I think the new terrarium will sort of block that out of the way. It's probably going to need to go up there on the brickwork. The next thing I needed to think about with this frog rat build is lighting, and I'd planned to use this type of lighting, so I did order a 90cm 3-foot light. Unfortunately, one of the ones on the other rack tripped out the electric and burnt out. Not sure why. Wasn't wet. I think it was just a faulty unit. What I've come up with is these are quite awkward to fit and replace when you've got stuff that's so heavy. Let me just flip the camera and show you what I mean. In order to fit this light centrally, I need something to screw it onto, and just the centerpiece wouldn't be enough, so I'd have had to put sort of timbers across in order to fit that. And then changing these are quite awkward, especially when you've only got a small gap under here to actually, I mean, it's doable. It is doable, but it's awkward. So let me show you what I've come up with. So after watching Tropical Tutorials, an absolutely fantastic channel that does all frog content, he uses 6,500 Kelvin bulbs, maybe 1 or 2 across the tank. The video that I watched was called A Beginner's Guide, or Everything You Need to Know About a Planted Terrarium. And in order to achieve that, I'm going to use these fittings. So what I'll do is I'll put them towards the back, but I'm going to have 2. So one on the left and one on the right. I'm going to sort of try this. We're going to wire this in, see how this goes for a bit. And the nice thing is, if a bulb goes, just unclip it and replace it. Let's get these fitted. So that's just one bulb. I do want to put like a cover over it, a reflector, but obviously there'll be a tank on top of there. I don't know if you can see that, but the frogs come up to say hello. That's with one light on, and obviously I'm going to have another one at the front here, and I think that's going to be plenty. I'm going to rescape this tank, by the way. I thought it would be a whiter light than that. They almost look warm white, not cool white as they were supposed to be, but I'll check the box and we'll crack on with it anyway. I'm still waiting for my bulbs to appear, but just to sort of give you guys an idea, what I've done is I've wired these in series. So we've got a lamp there, cabled round, a lamp there, through the top bar, a lamp there, cabled round, a lamp there, and then this bit here will go to power. I've used 6,500 watt Kelvin, 100 watt equivalent LED bulbs. They're 13 watts each, and the lights that are currently on there will go. Now overall what will happen is the big terrarium will go on top of these, so I may end up getting some aluminium reflective plate to go in here, build a bracket and just put plates over these to push the light down, but I'm not sure yet. I want to see how bright they are, and ideally what we're going to get is light here at the front and then in the back corners at the back, so they're sort of opposing each other, which hopefully will look good. I wanted to come up with a way, now that I've fitted that light in, to actually create some reflectors over the top, so I get more light. They're bright enough as it is, but to get more light. And I remember back in the day we used to be able to get like heat lamp reflectors that sort of went on to the where you screw the light bulb in and face down. Can't find them anywhere. If anyone knows, send me a link. But anyway, what I've come up with is some little barbecue trays, and obviously these are like a thick foil, so I can make them quite malleable, screw them on above, and they're quite rigid, and that's what we're going to fit next. Let me flip the camera. The hard bit really is just holding it in place. So I have flattened out the one side, and I think the best way to do this is to just rest it here and then maybe screw it in behind. Now what I might need to do is bend this down a little bit just so I can screw it in. Although if I put the screws in first, that might work. And obviously because it's quite malleable, I can always sort of get it in place where I need it. I'm thinking sort of here. Got to be careful not to rip the foil. They're by no way perfect, but they work. I've had to manipulate the back one a little bit, so I've had to put a bit of a bend in it here because it just won't sit down. It probably needed to get moved over a little bit. This one fits a lot better. Remember, there's going to be something on top of here as well, so it's just to reflect the light down, and I'm quite pleased. It might be too bright, I might need to move them and just switch one on, but for the moment that's what we're going with. And there we have it, cheap solution to a potentially expensive problem. Yes, they're not perfect, they're not pretty, but they're malleable, we can move them around and sort of jiggle them around. What is nice, and I'm glad I've gone with this solution, is now that we've got these type of bulbs, it's so easy in the gap below to just, it'll take me forever to do this now I'm on camera, but it's so easy to just drop in a new bulb. As I mentioned, it is going to have something on top of this, the new terrarium. So apart from covering up these bits, which I'm probably going to do with something like this, they actually look stunning. I'm really pleased with the colour. It's just daylight. I'm really pleased with the colour. Onwards and upwards, let's keep going. And now that we've got this massive terrarium in place, if you want to see me build this, make sure you're subscribed, hit your bell notification so you don't miss out on anything, and we'll catch you next time. Take care everybody, bye bye.